Good morning, friends. Welcome back to KARATENG. I just got a call this morning from a neighbor who is selling this property right here. I'm just surprised that this phenomenon of people selling homes built in the village is something I really had no idea about. Because rarely do people sell properties that they've already built. So I've spoken with her, and I want you to come along and check it out with me. It's a 3-bedroom home that I believe is virtually finished. It is very traditional in the way it's been designed, the way it's been finished. So I think it's something that has potential, but could use some improvement. You'll see the colors are not my type. The tiling is probably not my type, but I think it's something that has potential. It's about half an acre. And by the way, let me see if I can show you. Right behind me, right over there, is the tarmac road. So literally, you are less than, I would say, maybe 200 meters to the tarmac road. Very close in a place we call Chulaimbo, right in the middle of KARATENG. So come with me and let's take a look and see what she has out here. So anyway, folks, this is a home that sits on a 3-acre plot right by the road. She's got a bunch of things going on. She's got plants in here. She's got fruit trees that are already planted. You see, like the pawpaws. You've got mapera. You've got, I think she has animals in that house. And on the left side, you'll see a full-on staff quarters. And she's selling it as is. Now, if you're curious about why she's selling this, she moved to KARATENG many years ago, working within our neighborhood, and she just retired. So she's not from KARATENG, but has lived here for many years. And the house is still relatively new. But she just retired, and so she's moving back to Migori, which is in the southern part of Kenya. And she's looking to sell it so she can move back to her marital place. So anyway, that's why she's selling it. And by the way, if you're new to our channel, make sure you subscribe. If you're new to our channel, we help folks find property. We help folks build. If you need help with getting contractors, you need help with interior designers, architects, my number is right here. We're happy to help returnees or people who are interested in connecting with Kenya in some way or form. So anyway, folks, as we walk through this property, I want to talk with you about some of the things that are very common in village homes that I don't care for. And you'll see a lot of them in this video. I'm just going to list them one by one so you know that even though you'll see some of this in these houses, I don't particularly care for those. In fact, I would recommend that whoever purchases this property, and this is probably a matter of taste, if you purchase this property, then you probably want to redo the interiors. The structure itself is very solid based on my assessment. It's in a good space, but the interiors are not what I care for personally. But some people may care for some of those things. So I'm going to list to you a few things that I don't care for that are very common in village homes. Number one is bright colors. As soon as you walk in, you'll see that bright green color, and then you have multiple colors everywhere. This is a very common fixture of houses built in the village. We don't do that. For us, simplicity is the game. We go as simple as possible. Usually 1 or 2 colors, often white, something gray, or something really light that is not screaming. The second thing that is very common is what is you see in front of me. That traditional toilet that is planted out there. People like doing it. There's different ways to go about it. There's a way to hide it. You can still have an outdoor toilet, but hide it in such a way that it's just not imposing out there. And right next to the toilet, there is a septic tank. In many cases, we simply do biodigesters. They are a lot more efficient. You don't have to exhaust it. But people still do a lot of septic tanks in the village. I personally don't really care for that. Now, the other thing that is also common with this village home is the use of very simple windows. See, like the one in front of me, very simple metal windows that are done by local fundis. A lot of them are not very well done. And so the current fundis that we use do an excellent job. In fact, from afar, the ones our fundis do look almost like aluminum windows. So we don't do that. Then the other common feature with these village homes is that you'll see they have slightly fewer number of bathrooms. A lot of returnees want as many bathrooms as possible. In fact, many folks do all bedrooms and suites. I personally don't think it's necessary, but at least you need to have enough bathrooms. Related to that too, these village homes, they have this very common thing of splitting the shower and the toilet area with a wall. So what you end up with is a very tiny bathroom and a very tiny shower. And if you combine the two, you'd have still ended up with a very well spaced bathroom slash shower together. Most of these homes, including this one, they separate the toilet area and the shower area. I don't care for that. The other thing that is also common with these village homes is the sunken and raised areas. People love doing like sunken living room, raised dining area, and those things can be a nightmare when it comes to accessibility. So the homes we build, we avoid those things at all costs unless a client insists that they want that. The other thing that you'll find with almost all village homes is excess furniture, especially in the living room, where you walk in and a typical living room in the village usually has two sets of couches. And so the entire living room area is filled up with seats. I see the functional part of it in terms of, hey, when you have guests, especially church people coming and all that, that's a very common thing. But we don't do that when it comes to houses that are filled. The other common thing that you'll notice with these village homes is that the tiles, they like buying very small, multicolored, multi-designed tiles that are just spread all over the place. They look really busy. Personally, that's not my style, but if this is what floats your boat, then hey, why not? But we don't do that. We avoid that as much as possible. Now, the other thing that you'll also find with these village homes is the preponderance of inexpensive finishes. Most village homes go the cheap route when it comes to things like doors. You look at the frames here, look at that frame I'm talking about. These type of frames, these kinds of doors. Look at the tiles, the paint work, the gypsum work, the doors. Most village houses that I've visited that are built by local fundis, folks go cheap. And so what you end up with houses that are very well built in terms of structure, but their finishes don't always hit right. And that's why I always advise returnees. You can do the structure with your local fundis, that's fine. But when it comes to finishes, please, please, please just prepare your budget and use people who know what they're doing. Don't go cheap because you will not be happy. Now, this is what I'm talking about cheap. Look at the toilet I'm talking about here. There's a squat toilet that are fairly inexpensive. So again, when you come from diaspora, I'm not sure you would be happy to be squatting in one of the main bathrooms. That's why I said, whoever buys this house, if you're from diaspora, likely you will need to redo some of these interiors. But like I said, the structure is very well done. Now, the other common thing that you'll see with the village houses, I don't see it in this house, are very busy gypsum designs where they have all kinds of patterns and extra things here and there with lighting all over the place, blue, yellow, like a disco place. Very common. You'll also see with this thing about the kitchen cabinet where they actually build, like the one you're looking at right now, they actually build it using concrete and blocks. I think this is a very old style of doing kitchens. So for us, we demolish all of that and we do boards. We do it in such a way that you will not even see any of that stuff. But the use of this old stuff. And by the way, these fridges that you see, many of them are not functional in the village. They're just planted there. Some of them are just planted there for storage. So you'll open up a fridge and you find plates in there, only to find out that the fridge stopped working in 1936. Very common in village homes. Now, the other thing that you'll also notice is now look at the colors. I think for me, this is just extra bright. The other common thing you'll notice with the village houses is the idea of nailing pictures to the wall. They nail the pictures just along, or they put like some kind of a wooden panel along the wall. That's where they nail stuff all over the place. Now look at the colors. Look at the floor, the walls. I mean, just multiple tiles, multiple colors. And so it just feels like it's screaming. So anyway, when it comes to wall art, people usually just nail pictures or calendars and things like that. Very common with the village houses. Now, besides that, you'll also notice in every room, look at the top of that window. You'll see like there's like a hollow area. In every room, they put this kind of a vent, which if you ever needed to insert your AC, it may not work too well. So I don't care for those vents. Many of the houses we built don't have those vents because of the potential of using an AC. Now, besides that, you'll also find very few outlets in most rooms. You might find like this entire room. Now, I didn't check for this house, but an entire room might have just a single outlet, which also becomes a nightmare because then you have to pull extra extension cords everywhere. The other thing that you'll also find with these homes is they tend to use very small windows. People somehow believe that when you have smaller windows, then they are more secure. I don't know how that works, but I don't know necessarily that the size of window has anything to do with the security. You can still do a big window that is still fairly secure. Well, I hope, folks, you found this interesting. If you're interested in this property, my number is below. Reach out and I'll see what I can do for you. Thank you for listening. Bye.